Hey everybody, I am Vince of Geek Evolution, and welcome to Vince's blog. Not Horror Movie Rewind, no, that's a different show. In fact, the next installment of that show will be posted on Sunday, so tune in to watch it, and I hope you enjoy it. But Horror Movie Rewind about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein will be posted on Sunday. And the tentative next planning video is The Reanimator, and then I will do American Psycho. I figure The Reanimator is a good choice considering I just did after Sunday. We'll have just done Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So let's do another reanimated type of creature and make it really bat stuff crazy. As Cap said, this is pretty much just this blog thing is just pretty much showing you everything that we've been reading or watching or whatever that you guys might be interested to hear about. Now, I'll start with TV, considering I don't watch much TV unless it's South Park. But I like my South Park. What can I say? But a show that I started watching recently is Louie on FX. And I've been watching it on demand, so I've been watching it uncensored. And Louie is about Louis C.K. He's a stand-up comedian. And the guy he's one of the most clever comedians to come out in a while. And I really enjoy Louis C.K. stuff. In fact, the first time I saw a stand-up special with Louis C.K., I fell out of my chair laughing at just how funny his climax to his show was. I couldn't breathe. I had to rewatch his show just to hear the last 2 minutes of what he said. I mean, it was that funny to me. Now, of course, that's not what he's doing with Louis, but what he's doing with Louis is he's pretty much taking you on a journey of his own life. And I don't necessarily buy that this is the way his life is going, but he's kind of he has a very sad existence in this world. He has relationships with every other character in this show that are just sad in some way. And it's funny, but it's not really I'm laughing hysterically funny. Now, they do take breaks from his awkward life to show you what he does on stage and how what he's experienced or how what he is experiencing is driving what he does on stage. And I don't necessarily know that I buy everything that he did on the show as being 100% honest, but it's interesting stuff. It's entertaining stuff. And it's not necessarily highly dramatic, and it's not necessarily really funny, but it is something that you don't even have to turn your brain off to sit here and watch this stuff. You just experience this guy's life. I think it's an enjoyable show. Now, another show that's enjoyable but you do sort of have to turn your brain off to watch it. I watched the first season, and I'm a couple episodes behind watching the second season, but it's Warehouse 13 on the Sci-Fi Channel. And anything that comes out on the Sci-Fi Channel, you pretty much know that it's going to be not necessarily good. But it's fun stuff. Warehouse 13, I recommended it at one point, not necessarily on a recommends video, but it was enjoyable stuff. Now, what Warehouse 13 is about is people go around, there's a particular government organization called Warehouse 13 that goes out there and tries to find artifacts, as they call them, and these artifacts are some sort of mystically imbued objects, and these objects have superpowers or whatever you wish to call them, but or even things that have scientific or super science involved that enable them to do super things. And it's interesting, it's fun, but it's definitely an episodic show, and they're starting to take it in a direction that's less episodic, more arc-oriented, or even ongoing. I don't know. I hope, I'm not necessarily disappointed with where it's going, but there are certain times during the show that I just point at the screen and say, bull science, that's ridiculous, or that makes no sense. And I'm not going to sit here and point out what they are now, because obviously I'm not reviewing an episode, I'm just talking about the series. The bottom line, the reason why I'm still watching this, is that I think the characters are charming. They're not even realistic. They're just cute and fun to watch. And I feel like I'm betraying myself as a critic for saying that, but I enjoy what these characters do. And there's no artistry to it at all. It's just, hey, these guys are fun. I might get sick of it over the next few episodes, especially if they try to go more serious with the series, because at the moment I'm enjoying it because it's not serious. But yeah, okay. There's another show on Sci-Fi Channel called Haven that I recently watched some of the first couple of episodes. I tuned in for about the last 2/3 of the first episode and the second episode. I'm not going to complain about the series, of course, because I didn't watch much of it. But how many shows about an investigator do we need, whether it's the law or the government? I suppose the law is the government. But, I mean, local law enforcement or federal law enforcement or a special branch of the government or investigators that are above the government for like Men in Black or something. And how many of these things do we really need on TV at once? I just think it's odd that they have Warehouse 13 and then Haven showing in the same week. I mean, it's funny to me. On the same network, they have these two big shows, one that they're trying to push. I mean, of course, Haven was inspired by a Stephen King short story, so I understand why that one's getting pushed, because, well, it's Stephen King. I have no idea which one is going, and Haven is a more serious show than Warehouse 13, but I have a hard time taking it seriously because it's so formulaic, or at least from what I saw of it. So, yeah, there's me being a little, judgmental before I've seen the entire thing, but I couldn't get into it. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying I couldn't get into it because I've seen things like this before. Other things, that's what I've been watching in the way of television recently. Something else I've been watching, movies. I haven't watched a whole lot of movies recently, but I did watch a movie based on a friend's recommendation, a history professor's recommendation, and a film professor's recommendation. Same guy, but he suggested, Vince, you should watch Caligula. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Now, I watched Caligula, and it was interesting, and I kept wondering how much of this is about, or how much of this is historically accurate. Apparently, there's quite a bit of it, except for the representation of his, concubine or something that effect. I forget the actress's name, I forget the character's name, but she became Caligula's wife because his sister refused to marry him. So, yeah, I wondered how much of this stuff is really accurate, and truth be told, I can't tell you. I'm not really that big on my Roman Emperor knowledge, but I could not get into the film and take it seriously, other than just, I wonder if this is factually correct. But the reason why I couldn't get into it is Caligula is a Penthouse movie. Yes, that's right, the pornographers, and they tried to make an actual movie. Now, they made an actual movie. It stars Malcolm McDowell, by the way, so it's an actual movie. But the guys at Penthouse decided that it doesn't have enough pornography in it, so they went back and they re-edited the movie and inserted, no pun intended, scenes of sexuality and just depravity or whatever they wished to put in there. And by the end of the movie, I'd stopped thinking, I wonder if this is factually correct, and started wondering, how many scenes of fellatio am I going to watch in one film? I mean, my goodness, it became overbearing, and I had a hard time getting through the film. I mean, it's especially God forbid somebody walk in and see you watching Caligula. I mean, it's an interesting film, but I was a little dismayed that I'd seen Malcolm McDowell naked. That's all I'm saying. It's a hard movie to enjoy. No puns intended. Seriously. Now, I think Caligula is a decent movie, but it's really difficult to enjoy. So anyway, moving on. There's, okay. Because I find this, it's not necessarily geeky, but I figure you guys might want to know about it. My fitness regimen, I've moved on from P90X. I moved into P90X Plus. Now, I finished P90X Plus a few weeks ago, and now this week I've started in on a new program called Insanity. And Insanity is entirely jumping and things of that kind. And I gotta say, really hard. I mean, I'm not really gonna go that much deeper into it, but it's really hard. I mean, I didn't realize that the muscles in your feet could get sore. That's how hard Insanity is. So, yeah. I'm sore pretty much everywhere, and it's interesting to exist in constant pain. So, moving on from insanity, I've been reading my Punisher collection, and I'm going to pretty much try to touch on these things quickly because I don't want to have to do 2 videos. But I read Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, and the Punisher was featured in that in just a minor role where he comes into contact with Ash, and spoiler warning, Ash gets him killed. But I find it even odd that the Punisher is thinking that he can kill these zombies with bullets. I mean, and what's strange to me is that he has limited success until Ash runs out on him. The book tries to make you think that Ash is responsible for killing the Punisher, or at least turning the Punisher into a zombie, which I also take issue with because he doesn't have superpowers. So why is he a zombie? He just shoots people. What is his powers? Special gun powers? It makes no sense. But so the bullets seem to take effect on the zombies. Where are the rules in this universe? It's these people are trying so hard to laugh or make you laugh. The writer of this book, that they forget that there's anything to do with a set of rules. And I mean, even Army of Darkness, I believe, had a set of rules. The movie, that is. And that's why I liked Army of Darkness, because it was odd. It was straight out there. It was crazy, but it had something that was believable about it. You could immerse yourself into this world without thinking that anything could happen. I'm not going to really go much deeper into it, but they try so desperately hard to make you laugh with this series that it's hard to enjoy. I mean, the funniest thing is watching Blob try to run away from some zombies. But then they have scenes like they show. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna back off, because if you guys actually want to read this series, I'm not going to ruin it for you. So just read it and decide for yourself. Now, I've been reading Mike Benson Moon Knight from issue 26 to issue 30, and the Punisher could have been cut out of that, and it would have been the exact same story. I mean, they didn't need to show the Punisher at all. The guy had nothing to do with the plot. I just get the feeling that Mike Benson likes the Punisher and wanted to use him in a story. Sure, he shoots a couple people, but nothing that couldn't have been taken care of by Moon Knight kicking him in the face. I mean, come on. There was no need for the character in the story. It could have just been a straight Moon Knight story. And yeah, at this point, you guys are probably thinking, why did he buy it? Because I have a Punisher collection and I'm a bit of a completist. So I bought it because apparently I'm gullible. So moving on, alcohol and an effective fighter, I think, do not mix. However, apparently Mike Benson thinks that he can make the Moon Knight himself look like a supreme bad buttocks fighter, even though he's also making him look like a drunk. I mean, the guy's sitting around drinking to drown his sorrows from some event that I'm not sure of what happened, because I didn't read issues 1 through 25. But at this point, Moon Knight is pretty much drowning his sorrows in a bottle of liquor or whiskey or whatever you wish to call it. The Moon Knight manages to keep his faculties about him. It's odd to me. It makes no sense that he's that good of a fighter, even though he's been drinking pretty heavily. I'm not against the use of alcohol in stories. I just think it's kind of a cop-out. He's depressed, so of course he's going to be drinking. No, maybe this guy's depressed in a different way. Maybe he's depressed in a unique way. God forbid we try something unique. I'll talk about more comic books next time, but for now I'm going to cut it short so that I can hit my 15-minute mark and not have to post 2 videos. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And Sunday, Horror Movie Rewind will be posted, and we'll see you next time.